Ghost, and there's history. Let's do this. So this analogy came to me when I was thinking about the music of Ghost, or at least the stuff I've heard up till this point. You know those blitzers, that you can put fruit in, and you can put guava and banana and apple, and then blitz it all up, and then, Well, Ghosts do that with musical styles. So they'll chuck in a bit of classic rock, and a bit of pop, bit of synth, bit of choir, bit of organ, a bit of How's Your Father, blitz it up. Only that when Ghosts pour it out, it's not a mush. It is so intrinsically layered, almost as if, I don't know, somebody who's got OCD is trying to make an elaborate macchiato, It's so well done, and it shouldn't work, but it works. It's unbelievable. I don't know if you get my analogy, but it's kind of the only way I could try and explain my experience with Ghosts up to this point, right? Anyway, I have to say also that I've experienced some great feedback from the Ghost fan base, just with, the handful of stuff I've done so far. So helpful and so friendly. It seems like such a cool community of people. So really big thank you from my part for giving me all the advice and so on. I mean, I had this one list, and it was also labeled, with a code. So sort of H for history, something else for something else, something else for something else. Yes, thanks again, Faye. And this is the reason why I'm going for today's reaction, because I was advised this particular song is about history as well as being a cool track. So, it's called Kaiserion. Kaiserion. And it's off the 2022 IMPERA album. Okay. Oh, wow. Cool. Oh, there's some energy there.
Kaiserion, a prophecy told. We're building our empire from the ashes of an old. Kaiserion, the fruit of the womb. Our brotherhood of good faith sealed in a bondage which is due. It's the sound of another deadline whistling past your ears. It's the sight of a million regrets mounting over the years. It's the words that were never spoken that echoes through the times. It's the smell of the burning temple swept away by rhymes. Far away from the stench of the heavens. Long ago, yet too close to forever. When a paradise is lost, go straight to.
Okay. Well, hello. That was a nice, bouncy, fun sounding track. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, in terms of what I just heard, the music is it's like fun rock, right? And the vocals. I mean, there's this great scream at the beginning. Like in the previous songs, it's lighter. This is kind of more mid. Mummy Dust, that was more kind of sinister and hissing. This is kind of, more neutral and mid. But it's because it has that kind of, it's a bit, I wouldn't say like punk, not like rough around the edges punk, like the Anti-Nowhere League or, pistols, something like that. It's a like clean, fun punk, a bit like it's not exactly like the Ramones, but it has that kind of feel about it, if you know what I mean. That mid-range voice just suits it really well. But there's this element of metal guitar in there as well. Hey, they're mixing it up. I should expect that, right? But it's a very cool mix. Just quickly, I've also been learning about Ghost, little bits at a time. So I've got to know that it's Tobias, right? And he's called Our Guy. He's referred to as Our Guy. And he's like the mastermind. And he's the lead singer. He's the guy who is Papa Emeritus. And I've learned that on every album he changes his persona. He updates it. Sort of like rock and roll's equivalent of a Mac operating system. He's updating himself. So maybe that has something to do with the change in vocal styles. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway. Right. Now, before we tackle the text, I thought it best to quickly check on Kaiserion. Okay, the title of the song. So Kaiserion was actually a very important figure from history, albeit a very brief moment in history. And the reason why he's so important is because he was the biological son of Cleopatra, no less, and Julius Caesar. And Kaiserion is a name that means Caesar. So he was kind of named after his dad, in a way. I suppose Julius Jr. didn't go down too well, maybe, when they were thinking of a name. I don't know. But actually, there are two different spellings for his name. Now, the one is Kaiserion, as in the song title, and also Caesarium. I'm not sure if the one is like a Roman version of his name and the other is an ancient Egyptian version of his name, but he's got Kaiserion and Caesarium are his names. And just to confuse you even more, after Julius Caesar got assassinated, when he got stabbed, Cleopatra built a temple in his honor in the port city of Alexandria, and she called it Caesarium. Yep, just like their son, Kaiserion, who's also known as Caesarion because he's got two names. Are you still with me? Because it is a bit confusing. These ancient Romans and ancient Egyptians, when they get together, it's crazy, right? Anyway, Kaiserion, Caesarium, why he's so important is that he was the last sovereign member, or the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And this was a kingship that went back 3,000 years. So he was the last of that lineage. And actually, he was executed at the age of around 16 and 17. So he wasn't around for long. That's why I said he's a brief figure in history. And he was sentenced to death by the Roman Emperor Octavia, who basically, I guess he thought that he was a threat and wanted to take Egypt for himself. So yeah, that is the backstory of Kaiserion. Okay? And now we can tackle the text. So it starts, Kaiserion, a prophecy told. We're building our empire from the ashes of an old. Kaiserion, the fruit of the womb. Our brotherhood of good faith sealed, an apostate witch's doom. We're building an empire from the ashes of an old. Building of an empire. I mean, is that like the amalgamation of Rome and Egypt, perhaps? I guess that would have been the plan if Julius Caesar hadn't been assassinated, I suppose. Kaiserion, the fruit of the womb. Yeah, fruit of the womb. I think that's obvious what that is. But our brotherhood of good faith sealed an apostate witch's doom. Apostate. That's like somebody who is turning their back on a belief system or something like that, right? Or religion. Witch's doom. Cleopatra wasn't a witch. All right. Okay, so the next part of the text. It's the sound of another deadline whistling past your ears. It's the sight of a million regrets mounting over years. It's the words that were never spoken that echoes through the times. It's the smell of the burning temples swept away by rhymes. It sounds rather profound, but I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to mean, if I'm honest. The only thing I pick up on is temples, and that we were just discussing Cleopatra's temple, right? But the deadline whistling past your ears? Okay. Far away from the stench of the heavens. Hypatia. How do they pronounce it? Hypatia? Hypatia. Long ago, yet too close to forever. Hypatia. When a paradise is lost... Hang on a sec. Hypatia. That's a name. Okay. Hypatia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, because I forgot how they said it in the song. Okay, this is interesting. She was a philosopher, astronomer, and mathematician who died in 415 AD. So that's a good few hundred years after Kaiserion. So there's no direct link there. And get this. She was murdered. In the temple of Caesarium in Alexandria. She was murdered by a Christian mob. They stripped her naked and tore her to pieces. The ancient historian Socrates Scholasticus declared, "Surely nothing can be farther from the spirit of Christianity than the allowance of massacres, fights, and transactions of that sort." Okay. And by all accounts, it seems that the Christians had targeted her because of her pagan beliefs. So that is the connection, right? Of the apostate witch. A witch. Yeah, anybody who didn't believe in their religion, like a pagan believer, would have been considered a witch. Because of the way they used to practice their own religions, I suppose. An apostate, of course, yeah, because you're a different... you have a different belief system or whatever. Brotherhood of good faith. Brotherhood of good faith. Hey, we're Christians, so we're the good guys. Yeah. Okay. I'm still a little bit uncertain about the what the deadline is that's whistling past ears and the million regrets. But it seems like there's some kind of link there with Hypatia. Is it in later in the text? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's get back to it. Listen to this. Oh, wow. Oh, that's some classic rock feel there, right?
It's the sound of another deadline whistling past your ears. It's the sight of a million regrets mounting over years. It's the words that were never spoken that echoes through the times. It's the smell of the burning temple swept away by rise. It's the truth of candor shown through a prism of deceit. It's the kindness of bishops with their choir boys on suite. It's the tongue sorting adulation that licks to no avail. It's the noise of a righteous dogma that hides the inmate's tale. Far away from the stench of the heavens. Long ago, yet you're close to forever. When a paradise is lost, go straight to. Far away from the stench of the heavens. Long ago, yet you're close to forever. When a paradise is lost, go straight to.
That's not the first time their song is finished with a Hammond organ, right? Whoa! That was a, kind of hits you from all angles, that one, doesn't it? Oh man, that classic rock sound, da-ga-da-ga-da-ga-da, dare I say Detroit Rock City-ish? Very, very cool. I like that. And I was trying to focus on the text as well, because it's all very, it's a very fun-sounding track, but the lyrics are actually very serious. I was also trying to focus on that as well, but the sound of it, I mean, there was where they sing "It's the truth of candor shown" and all that block again, there's like this, like a Celtic pipe sound. You know what I mean? And maybe it's done on a synth or something, but it's definitely there. There's like a layer of it, I'm sure. And of course, there's a layer of something, right? But it's that was really nice. And I think the pronunciation was Hypatia, right? That's what they're singing. Hypatia. Yeah. But I noticed something. I mean, this second block, I kind of am getting an understanding of what they're trying to say here now. That whole deadline whistling past ears, I have still no idea what that means. But this other section, it's the truth of candor shown through the prism of deceit. It's the continence of bishops with their choir boys en suite. This is having a dig at religion, right? It's the continence of bishops with their choir boys en suite. Well, we can kind of guess what that's referring to, you know, with, all the reports of church cover-ups, right? Righteous dogma. Yeah, it's like holier than thou, I'm moral, and I'm fine. I'm not quite sure what a handmaid's tale is. So basically, with the song starts off, I think, referring to the historical figure, Kaiserion, but then we get this repeated reference of Hypatia, and she really becomes the focal point of the song. And it then links it. This is the nice thing, actually, what they've done. They've linked social commentary with history, and they're kind of bringing it together. Hypatia was brutally murdered in the temple by the Christians. And then there's all this mention, in a way, it's all talking about double standards of Christianity. And I suppose it can refer to any religion, right? Like I said, it's almost like they're portraying themselves as being holier than thou, but actually they're the opposite, which is going back to what the Socrates chap was talking about in terms of how Christianity should behave. And there was another part of the text now which kind of makes sense. Put on the smiles and throw your holy rocks right at her for her satanic wiles. The holy rocks, like a holy weapon, at her satanic wiles. Yeah. Well, if she's pagan, whatever her practices are, they would consider bad. Or maybe, so that's like holy rocks thrown at this awful woman, right? In a way, it's a bit like those religious actions during the medieval period. They were using religion as a means of doing something which actually is totally opposite to what they're preaching. You know, the witch hunts and the burnings. In fact, if you're interested in that period and that specific subject, a couple of weeks ago I did a reaction regarding a song called Am I Evil by Diamond Head, the classic British heavy metal band. It's a song actually that was made famous by Metallica. But if you're interested in that period, I'll put it in the link below and you can check it out. It's actually an amazing song as well, so I recommend it, highly recommend it. Anyway, so like I said, the music is really fun and bouncy, but the text is, the music actually is usually more layered than the text from what I've seen up to this point. But this particular song, I would say the lyrics are more layered. And there's still a section I'm not really sure about. But you go from historical figure to another historical figure to social commentary about the hypocrisy of religion, basically. And yet, despite the fact that it's a very complex, layered text, there's still loads of layers with the music as well. I mean, like I said, there's that kind of fun, clean, punky sound. There's a bit of a metal edge to it. I mean, Celtic pipes. And that classic, I was thinking Detroit Rock City, but there's this classic rock da-da-da-da-da-da-da in it as well, which is brilliant. I really, really thought that was cool. I mean, I don't know how these guys do it, to be honest. And I don't even need to say I didn't expect that, because I should expect, well, pretty much anything. It's just so eclectic. But despite it being eclectic, it's just so bloody good, right? That was, that was good. That was really good. Hey, again, they don't disappoint, right?